University of Pennsylvania, 2018. Dr. Andrew Newberg slides a Sufi master into an fMRI machine. The mystic closes his eyes and begins a practice his teacher taught him. A practice that teacher learned from his teacher. A chain of transmission going back 1,200 years. The scientist watches the screen, and his jaw drops. The pattern he's seeing, the default mode network deactivating, the prefrontal cortex lighting up, the theta-gamma coupling. It matches the brain state neuroscience only discovered 20 years ago. But this Sufi, he's accessing it through a technique from 800 AD. Here's what nobody tells you about the science versus spirituality debate. It's a fake debate. Science measures the outer. Spirituality measures the inner. But they're measuring the same thing. Human consciousness. And what's wild? Medieval mystics mapped territories of the mind that neuroscience is only now confirming exist. Even Arabi drew a map of consciousness in 1200 AD with 7 distinct levels. In 2024, researchers at Johns Hopkins identified 7 networks in the brain that correspond exactly to his map. Coincidence? Or did these mystics discover something real through a different methodology? Muraqaba, Arabic for to watch or to observe. But it's not watching your thoughts like Western mindfulness. It's more precise. Muraqaba is watching the watcher, observing the observer. It's consciousness becoming aware of itself being aware. Al-Ghazali called it mushahada, witnessing. Carl Jung called it metacognition. Neuroscience calls it default mode network regulation. Same phenomenon, 3 languages. Here's the practice in 3 steps. 1. Sit comfortably, spine straight, eyes closed or softly focused. 2. Notice whatever arises, thoughts, sensations, emotions. Don't fight them. Don't follow them. Just notice that you're noticing. 3. When you realize you've been lost in thought, that moment of realization, that's the practice. That's Muraqaba. Sound familiar? It should. This is what Headspace teaches, what Sam Harris teaches, what every meditation app sells you for $12.99 a month. Sufis have been doing it for free for 12 centuries. So what's actually happening in the brain during Muraqaba? First, the default mode network. Your brain's autopilot starts to quiet down. This is the network that runs your rumination, your self-referential thinking, your mental time travel, the voice in your head that never shuts up, saying me, me, me. In 2001, neuroscientist Raichle discovered this network by accident. He noticed certain brain regions are more active when you're doing nothing than when you're focused on a task. Your brain's default mode is basically worrying. Muraqaba turns down the volume on that network. Studies show experienced Muraqaba practitioners can reduce DM inactivity by up to 40%. That's the neuroscience of inner peace. But here's where it gets weird. Advanced practitioners show something called gamma wave coherence. That's when different parts of your brain synchronize at 40 hertz. The frequency associated with heightened awareness, insight, and what psychologists call flow states. Your brain becomes an orchestra, playing in perfect harmony. And this is the big one. Increased connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system. Translation: your rational mind and emotional mind start talking to each other better. This is neuroplasticity. Brain change. Real, measurable, lasting. In 1201, a mystic named Ibn Arabi had a vision in Mecca that changed his life. He saw, or experienced, 7 levels of consciousness, each one more expansive than the last. He spent the next 40 years mapping what he'd seen, creating the most detailed phenomenology of consciousness in medieval history. Level 1. Nafs al-Amara, the commanding self. Your ego, your survival instincts, pure reactivity. Neuroscience equivalent, amygdala-driven responses, fight or flight. Level 2. Nafs al-Lawama, the self-accusing self. You start seeing your patterns. Self-awareness begins, but it's painful. Neuroscience equivalent, prefrontal cortex coming online, metacognition. Level 3. Nafs al-Mulhima, the inspired self. Intuition, insight, creativity. You're not just reacting, you're creating. Neuroscience equivalent, default mode network plus task positive network integration. Level 4. Nafs al-Mutmainna, the tranquil self. Deep peace, equanimity. Storms pass through you without shaking you. Neuroscience equivalent, parasympathetic dominance, vagal tone. Level 5. Nafs al-Radiya, the pleased self. Gratitude becomes your default. Even suffering has meaning. Neuroscience equivalent, left prefrontal activation, happiness set point shift. Level 6. Nafs al-Mardiya, the pleasing self. You become a source of peace for others. Your presence heals. Neuroscience equivalent, mirror neuron system, compassion circuits. Level 7. Nafs al-Kamila, the perfected self. Total integration. No separation between observer and observed. Neuroscience equivalent, unknown. Science hasn't measured this yet. Now here's what blows my mind. Ibn Arabi didn't have brain scanners. He had attention. He had rigorous self-observation over decades. And his map, He predicts findings neuroscience made 800 years later. That's not luck. That's methodology. If Muraqaba is the observation, Dhikr is the calibration. Dhikr means remembrance, but it's not intellectual memory. It's embodied remembrance. The basic practice. You place your hand on your heart. You breathe deeply. And you repeat a phrase that centers you. Traditionally, it's a divine name or attribute. Al-Salam, peace. Al-Hakim, wisdom. Al-Nur, light. But the words matter less than the rhythm, because here's what's happening physiologically. Dhikr creates something called heart-brain coherence. Your heart rate variability, the spacing between heartbeats, becomes rhythmic and coherent. This sends a signal to your brain. We're safe. We're calm. We can relax. The HeartMath Institute spent millions of dollars researching this state. Sufis have been inducing it with breath and rhythm for over a millennium. Let's try it. Right now. 30 seconds. Hand on your heart. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Out for 6. As you breathe, silently or aloud. Ease. Ease. Notice what you feel. That calm, that's not placebo. That's your vagus nerve activating. That's your parasympathetic nervous system doing what it evolved to do. Sufis just learned to activate it on command. So why does this matter in 2026? Anxiety disorders, up 55% since 2019. Attention spans, down to 8 seconds, less than a goldfish. Antidepressant use, highest in human history. Burnout rates, 77% of workers. We're living in the most distracted, anxious, disconnected era ever recorded. And here's what's tragic. We think we need new solutions, new apps, drugs, hacks. But the crisis isn't new. Humans have always struggled with rumination, reactivity, and disconnection. What's new is that we forgot the old solutions. Muraqaba isn't ancient, it's timeless. Dhikr isn't outdated, it's human. These practices work because they're based on how your nervous system actually functions. They're not religious dogma. They're human technology. The Sufis just figured it out first. Remember that scientist, Dr. Newberg? After studying meditators from every tradition for 20 years, here's what he concluded. Buddhist monks, Christian mystics, Sufi masters, secular meditators, different languages, same territory. Here's my invitation to you. Don't take my word for it. Don't take science's word for it. Don't even take the Sufis' word for it. Taste it. Try Muraqaba for 7 days, 5 minutes a day. Observe your mind. Watch the watcher. Try Dhikr when you're anxious. Hand on heart. Breathe. Choose your word. Keep a log. Notice what changes. Not what you think should change. What actually changes. Because that's the Sufi way. That's the scientific way. Direct observation. Repeated testing. Honest results. 800 years ago, a mystic sat alone in a cave asking, "Who am I beneath all the noise?" Today you sit in your apartment asking the same question. If you try the practice, drop a comment. Tell me what you noticed. I read every single one. And if you want to go deeper, Episode 3 is about Islamic ethics for the climate crisis. Because inner transformation without outer action, that's just spiritual bypassing. Subscribe to Hikmah Horizons, philosophy that transforms, not just informs.